Most men think that time kills attraction, that passion fades naturally, that it's impossible to make a woman look at you the same way she did in the beginning. But here's the truth. Time doesn't kill desire. Comfort does. When a man stops growing, when he stops leading, when he stops making her feel something, that's when the spark dies. You see, attraction isn't something you win once, it's something you maintain every day through energy, mystery, and masculine presence. So today, let's talk about how to keep her craving you, even after years, decades, or a lifetime together. Secret number 1, never stop being a challenge. In the beginning, you were fire, unpredictable, confident, bold. She never quite knew what to expect, what you'd say next, where you'd take her, or what new experience you'd create. That uncertainty made her pulse quicken. It wasn't fear, it was aliveness. It told her, this man lives with purpose. This man moves with passion. And that's what drew her in. It wasn't your words, your looks, or even your success. It was the energy of the unknown. The feeling that being with you was an adventure, not a routine. That every day carried a spark of discovery, a reason to stay curious, alert, and excited. But here's where most men lose it. Over time, they stop being creators and become maintainers. They trade mystery for predictability. They stop flirting, stop teasing, stop leading. They think stability means safety, but to a woman, stability without excitement feels like emotional death. You start answering her texts instantly, telling her every detail of your day, explaining your every decision. You become available, too available. There's no more tension, no more polarity, no more sense of wonder. And when that happens, her fascination quietly fades. She doesn't stop loving you, but she stops craving you. A woman doesn't lose interest because of time. She loses it because she already knows every move you'll make. She can predict your thoughts, your words, your tone, your rhythm, and when there's nothing left to discover, her imagination shuts down, and with it, her desire. So bring back a bit of that edge, not through games or manipulation, but through energy. Be the man who has his own world, his own focus, his own direction. Don't drop everything the moment she calls. Don't try to please every emotion. Sometimes let her feel your absence, so she can crave your presence. Surprise her again. Change the tone of your voice when you whisper in her ear. Take her somewhere unexpected, not because it's fancy, but because it's different. Send her a message that makes her blush, not because of what it says, but because of how it makes her feel, like she's being chased again. Remember, attraction lives in tension. It's the electricity between the known and the unknown. When she feels that you're still capable of surprising her, emotionally, intellectually, and physically, she stays magnetized, because mystery is the oxygen of attraction. And when a man learns to keep that mystery alive, even after years together, something magical happens. She starts watching you again, listening differently, wondering, what is he thinking right now? That's when she stops taking you for granted and starts falling for you all over again. Secret number 2, keep growing, not proving. The strongest aphrodisiac for a woman isn't muscles or money, it's growth. It's not about what you've achieved in the past, it's about who you're still becoming. A woman is drawn to a man who's in motion, who still has curiosity in his eyes, plans in his heart, and discipline in his actions. A man with goals, even small ones. A man who doesn't wake up just to exist, but to evolve. Because growth is life, and life is magnetism. The moment a man stops growing, something inside him begins to dim. His energy flattens, his conversations repeat, his spark fades. And that, more than age or appearance, is what makes a woman quietly lose desire. But when she looks at you and sees movement, when she sees that you're still learning, still improving, still chasing excellence, she feels it. Your presence becomes electric again. You stop being predictable and start being inspiring. Why? Because it tells her she's with someone who's alive on the inside. Someone who hasn't surrendered to routine or comfort. Someone who's not afraid to reinvent himself, to explore new passions, to keep life exciting. A man who keeps expanding his world naturally invites her to expand hers. He becomes a source of momentum, a reminder that passion doesn't die with time, it dies with stagnation. The Stoics taught, a man's purpose is his anchor. If you lose it, you drift. And when a man drifts, his energy becomes uncertain. His woman feels it. She stops trusting his direction, and once that trust fades, attraction quietly follows. So keep building, even if it's slowly. Learn something new, a skill, a language, an idea. Travel, even if it's just to the next town. Train your body, not to impress, but to stay strong, capable, and proud of the man you see in the mirror. Deepen your mind. Read, reflect, grow in silence when no one's watching. Because growth doesn't shout, it radiates, and a woman can sense that silent strength. Show her, without words, that she's with a man who refuses to fade into the background of his own life. Because a man who keeps his inner fire alive doesn't need to chase her attention. The warmth of his energy pulls her back, again and again, without him saying a single word. Secret number 3. Desire needs distance. Too much closeness, no matter how romantic it seems, slowly dissolves attraction. At first, being together constantly feels intoxicating. You share meals, habits, routines, even moods. But over time, that closeness can start to blur the edges between you. And where there is no space, there is no tension. Where there is no tension, desire fades. Women are drawn not just to warmth, but to masculine energy that carries direction. Calm, focused, and slightly distant. Not emotionally distant, but self-contained. She wants to feel that your world doesn't revolve entirely around her. That you have purpose, goals, and fire that existed before she came into your life and will exist even if she steps away. When you become too available, when you answer every message instantly, cancel your plans for her, or let your routines dissolve just to please her, she may appreciate it for a while, but something inside her begins to change. Her subconscious says, "He's safe, but I don't feel the same pull anymore." Because what once felt like strength now feels like surrender. A man's independence is part of what creates his magnetism. When she sees that you have your own rhythm, your own friends, passions, and routines, she doesn't feel neglected. She feels intrigued. She starts wondering what you're thinking, what you're doing, what's going on in that mysterious mind of yours. That curiosity reignites the very spark that routine life tends to smother. So, don't fear distance. Use it wisely. Go to the gym alone. Take trips. Spend time on projects that matter only to you. Feed your mind and spirit with new experiences. Because when you return to her, you bring something far more powerful than gifts. You bring fresh energy. And that energy changes everything. When you tell her stories she hasn't heard, when your eyes reflect something she didn't expect, when your presence feels renewed, her body and mind respond. She feels that she's rediscovering you again. And that sense of rediscovery is what keeps long-term passion alive. Desire needs space to breathe, a rhythm of closeness and distance, pursuit and pause. That tiny gap between "I know you" and "I want to know more" is what fuels attraction. So remember this truth. If she knows you'll always be there, she stops searching for you. If she knows she could lose your focus, your energy, your presence, she treasures it infinitely more. Because a man who gives her everything loses her curiosity. But a man who keeps just enough mystery keeps her desire. Secret number 4. Lead the energy of intimacy. Here's what most men forget. Desire doesn't begin in the bedroom. It begins long before. It starts in how you look at her when she walks into the room. It lives in your tone when you speak, the steadiness of your presence, the way your energy fills the space before you even say a word. Intimacy isn't a switch that turns on when the lights go out. It's a current that flows quietly all day, in your tone, in your eyes, in your touch. It's the invisible dance between your grounded masculine energy and her soft, receptive feminine energy. And here's the truth. She can only relax into her desire when she feels your leadership. When you approach her with confidence, calmness, and intention, she exhales. Her guard drops. The tension she didn't even know she was holding begins to melt away. Because she can sense that you're not seeking validation or chasing approval, you're radiating certainty. And that certainty allows her to feel safe enough to be open, sensual, and feminine. Flirt with her again, not out of routine, but out of genuine curiosity. Not like a boy trying to impress, but like a man who already knows her soul and still finds it endlessly fascinating. Tease her mind before you ever touch her skin. Compliment the small things, the way her voice changes when she laughs, the way she smells after a shower, the way her presence shifts a room. Look at her like she's still your favorite secret, the one you never get tired of discovering. Let your gaze linger, not in lust, but in appreciation, as if you're memorizing her all over again. Touch her without rushing. Brush your hand against her waist when you pass by. Tuck her hair behind her ear just to be close enough to whisper something soft. And when you do whisper, don't say it to get something. Say it because you feel something. Because your voice, your breath, your tone all carry energy. And when that energy comes from genuine desire, she feels it deep in her body. That's what reignites the spark. It's not grand gestures or expensive nights. It's the quiet, subtle moments where she feels that your attention is still fully on her, where she realizes you're not just replaying an old script, you're rediscovering her in real time. Because passion isn't about novelty. It's not about new partners, new tricks, or new experiences. It's about bringing new energy into the same connection, over and over again. It's about reminding her that she's still desired, still fascinating, still capable of pulling emotion from you just by being herself. When you lead the energy of intimacy, you remind her that she doesn't need to perform to be loved. She just needs to be. And in that space and that quiet, confident leadership, desire doesn't fade with time. It deepens. It matures. It becomes something far more powerful than lust, connection through presence. Secret number 5, protect the polarity. One of the biggest reasons relationships lose their spark isn't lack of love, it's loss of polarity. That invisible magnetic tension between masculine and feminine energy that keeps passion alive. In the beginning, polarity is effortless. You were the grounded one, confident, decisive, focused. She was soft, radiant, unpredictable, drawn to your strength like a flame to oxygen. That natural balance created chemistry without either of you trying, but over time, many men forget this law of nature. They start adapting too much, trying to please, to fix, to understand every emotion. And without realizing it, they start mirroring her energy instead of holding their own. Here's the truth. A woman can only stay in her softness if you remain in your strength. She can only relax if she feels your stability. She can only open emotionally if she feels that you won't collapse when she does. If you become too emotional, too reactive, or too uncertain, she unconsciously switches roles. She becomes the one who has to take charge, stay grounded, and hold the frame. And that shift kills desire faster than anything else. Because when two similar energies collide, attraction fades. It doesn't mean you have to be distant or cold. It means you have to be her anchor, not her echo. You don't need to dominate her. You need to ground her. Be calm when she's chaotic. Be steady when she's uncertain. Be logical when she's emotional. When you stay unshaken, she feels safe to express, to soften, to trust you fully. Because safety for a woman isn't built on words, it's built on presence. It's built on knowing that no matter what storm she brings, you won't lose your center. And when she feels that, her femininity blooms. Her softness returns. Her attraction reignites. But the moment you start competing with her emotions, or trying to be her therapist, or turning into her best girlfriend, she stops seeing you as her man. You blur the polarity that fuels desire. She doesn't need another version of herself. She needs contrast. She needs the quiet to her storm, the stillness to her motion, the direction to her flow. So stop trying to understand every feeling. Start embodying the strength that allows her to feel without judgment. Stay her center, not her reflection. Because when a man holds his ground, firm, calm, and unshakable, a woman doesn't just feel safe, she feels alive again. Secret number 6, stay unavailable to negativity. Nothing kills attraction faster than bitterness, resentment, or constant complaining. It doesn't matter how attractive you once were, the moment your energy turns heavy, everything about you becomes dull in her eyes. A woman's desire doesn't grow in tension, it grows in safety, emotional safety. When she feels that your presence brings peace, not pressure, calm, not chaos, her body and mind begin to relax around you. And from that relaxation comes attraction. See, men often make the mistake of meeting feminine emotion with more emotion. She gets upset, you argue, she complains, you defend, she tests you, you take it personally. And every time you do, you lose your frame. A man who argues loses mystery, a man who reacts loses power, a man who stays grounded gains her respect and her curiosity. So protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. When she brings storms, you don't fight them, you anchor them. Let her feelings flow, but don't let them sweep you away. Don't absorb her chaos, contain it, because the more grounded you stay, the more she feels safe to express, release, and then soften again. That's the paradox of polarity. She needs space to feel everything, but she needs your stillness to feel safe while doing it. If you mirror her chaos, she loses trust in your strength. But if you remain calm, present, and emotionally steady, she starts to see you differently. You become her peace, her calm after the storm, her center of gravity in a world that constantly pulls her in every direction. Understand this. Your emotional stability is not just attractive, it's magnetic. It makes her feel that no matter what happens, you won't crumble. that she can be soft because you are solid. Because desire doesn't live in drama. It lives in polarity. She dances in her emotions. Yes, she needs that movement. But she also needs your stillness as her rhythm. You are the tempo to her melody, the calm pulse beneath her chaos. And when you master that balance, she won't just feel attraction. She'll feel safe enough to surrender to it completely. Secret number 7. Keep the flame of respect. Attraction without respect is like a fire built on paper. It burns fast, bright, and dies quickly. But respect without attraction? That's just friendship wrapped in politeness. If you want long-term passion, you need both, the spark and the structure that holds it. Many men forget this as years pass. They get comfortable, careless, or too accommodating. They stop leading and start agreeing with everything just to keep the peace. But peace built on surrender isn't harmony. It's quiet resentment. And women can sense it instantly. Respect isn't built by being perfect. It's built by being consistent in your actions, your values, your presence. When a woman sees that your word means something, that your boundaries are real, that your emotions don't control you, she relaxes. She might test you, challenge you, even provoke you, not to hurt you, but to see if you're still that man. The one who stands firm, yet calm. The one who can hold his ground without raising his voice. Never let love make you weak. Gentleness doesn't mean softness. It means strength under control. When you speak your truth clearly and calmly, when you stand by your principles even in small things, she feels safe in your presence. Because safety is what allows attraction to breathe. Remember this, boundaries create respect and respect fuels desire. Every time she feels that you're capable of saying no, not out of anger but out of clarity, she remembers why she said yes in the first place. It reminds her that she's with a man who doesn't bend for approval but leads with conviction. And that polarity, her softness meeting your steadiness, reignites the flame again and again. So protect that balance. Don't let routine turn into disrespect. Don't let comfort turn into complacency. Love her deeply, but never lose yourself in the process. Because a woman can only keep desiring a man she still admires. And admiration doesn't come from gifts or words. It comes from the quiet, unshakable energy of a man who knows his worth. Be kind, be patient, be steady. But never be afraid to lead. Because in the end, passion is not about constant excitement. It's about the magnetic pull that happens when two people respect each other enough to never stop earning one another's desire. Gentlemen, remember this. Women don't lose attraction because of time. They lose it when you stop giving them something to feel. Keep your mystery alive. Keep your purpose strong. Stay calm, grounded, but unpredictable. Let her see that you are still growing, still leading, still capable of fire. Because when a man stays emotionally alive, a woman will always feel magnetically drawn to him. She doesn't crave perfection. She craves aliveness. That sense that you're still hungry for life, still driven by purpose, still full of quiet strength and curiosity. Don't chase her passion. Don't beg for her attention. Become the man who naturally awakens it. The man whose presence still makes her heart skip. Not because of what he says, but because of who he continues to become. When you evolve, she rediscovers you. When you stay grounded, she feels safe. When you remain unpredictable, she feels alive. And that balance, safety, and excitement is what keeps desire burning year after year. So never stop learning, never stop leading, never stop being the man who makes her feel like she's with someone she can still admire. Because when a man never stops evolving, she'll never stop craving him. Subscribe for more real conversations about attraction, masculinity, and emotional mastery. Like this video if you believe passion can last for decades. And tell me in the comments, what do you think makes a woman stay drawn to a man after years together?